You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show.
Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. You know what time it is. It's here at AfterBuzz TV, talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 1, Episode 19, The Only Light in the Darkness. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me, of course, fantastic panel. Megan Salinas is here.
Hey, everyone.
Kristin Carole's here.
Hey, Agent.
And Joyce Ajouri's here.
Hey, hey.
Oh, man. So, lots to talk about this episode. Continuing all of the crazy fallout that has come from Captain America: The Winter Soldier. We got to finally see a character alluded to, but we've never seen before. We got a cool new villain for a hot second. We lost a dear friend who we'd only just met, but we wanted to keep forever and ever.
Welcome to the Whedonverse.
Yeah. So let's talk about it, guys. How'd you feel? What'd you like?
This was honestly probably one of my favorite episodes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had a lot of ones that, but just this was suspenseful. I mean, right when Skye found Patton Oswalt in the ceiling, and then she looks down at it was iPad.
It's like
the tablet at the tablet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see Ward walking towards her. It took on a whole different feel than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had ever done.
The chills, because that feeling of being chased freaks me out. But that was one of my favorite scenes. And another one of my favorite scenes was when Coulson actually was that close to Audrey, but he disappeared in the nick of time, just in time for her to wake up and realize, or think that he was just a dream.
Yeah.
But
so
he's
bittersweet.
Just a beautiful, sweet moment. Sad.
And he knows that she misses him.
Yeah, what'd you think, Megan?
It was just a roller coaster of emotions. Like, one of the things I really love about doing this podcast is that we all watch together, and you get like the wide range of emotions from everybody as we're watching it. So we're all going like, oh,
I think there were a lot more inappropriate comments this week, just based off of like Skyward's like sexual tension
like
going on.
It got a little rowdy. It got a little bawdy at times, just because like he's trying to spy bang her, but she's spy banging him right back. But he doesn't know that he's being spy banged. He thinks he's the one doing the spy banging.
And if Skye bang or spy bang
Does
isn't
everyone
a
understand
hashtag tomorrow, I'm disappointed.
Hashtag spy bang.
We got Hail Coulson a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Now we need spy bang.
No, that's hashtag spy bang, not hashtag sky bang, because that's kind of gross.
Or Ward bang.
That sounds dangerous.
Right. You don't want to bang
it
the
is
sky.
for Ward.
Skyward.
That's true.
Is that like the Mile High Club?
Skyward spy bang?
See, what I love...
Yeah, you get into Mile High Club banging Skye.
Skye bang.
One of my favorite things on any series is when, for a hot second, we try on another genre. Like, we just take our characters and we slip them into something new. And it felt like this tense, almost like, I can't remember who said it while we were watching, like a slasher flick of knowing that Ward is dangerous. She knows that Ward's dangerous. She has to convince Ward, that she doesn't know anything. That kind of terror. It was only for a little bit, but I really enjoyed injecting a new energy into the show. It keeps it fresh.
I haven't felt like that tense from that type of energy since the governor was chasing Andrea last season in Walking Dead.
It very much reminded me of that.
Oh my gosh.
Except with the Pac-Man tablet.
Just like
that was so creepy.
Or like the Marauders map tablet. Yes.
Ooh.
While we were watching, you were like, I really like how this is shot. And it was really well done because it totally led up to Skye's realization that he's crazy, or that he killed Eric. But I love how they were flashing back from Audrey back to Skye, and then just like the build up for both parts of those.
And we have the sound of her playing over
I love
both
that.
of them as
The
it cuts back and
juxtaposition's
forth.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Now,
really cool.
Yeah.
Before we get to any of that, of course, we open with Ward being healed giving all this fake information, feeding the team this line of BS that they're just swallowing, and we are not happy about it. So we introduced the first major obstacle in Agent Ward's reintegration into the team, this amazing, super powerful lie detector chair commissioned by Fury himself, something that even Agent Romanoff couldn't pass.
I love it. They had to get stuff on Maury and Jerry Seinfeld or something.
You mean Jerry Springer?
Jerry Springer. That would make a good Seinfeld episode, though.
Yeah, or I'm just imagining Jerry Seinfeld hosting a trashy talk show during the daytime.
What's the deal with the lie detectors?
Yeah. What's the deal with your unplanned pregnancy? Getting back on topic. So this lie detector, we got to have a lot of fun because we got to hear how all of our characters other than Ward really feel about a variety of things.
Yeah, and just their history.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
Like May is divorced. She used to be married. We had no idea.
Yeah, not at all.
I kind of hope that circles around where we, hear more about
yeah.
that
What if it
eventually.
was Coulson?
I feel like if it was Coulson, they would have said something by
Yeah.
now. I had that thought
Yeah.
too, because it would explain,
were
the
young.
feeling of the history and everything.
That
But
would be too
What
easy.
if Coulson was the reason she's no longer married?
Maybe.
I feel like they would talk about that at some point. Hey, remember that affair we had that cost me my marriage? Also, I'm spying on you to Nick Fury. I feel like that would have come up.
Well, maybe I think what Megan means is not necessarily an affair, but just like the husband's like, you have feelings for him and not for me anymore. Like maybe it was an internal,
okay.
like a flirtation
The
affair, like
the
independent.
romantic
It ended-
notion.
Yeah.
Right, with no one, being unloyal or anything.
I
Disloyal.
don't feel
Right.
like Coulson.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, I
in
don't
his-
think
not his
that's what
style.
happened.
It's not his
Right. But we also got some fun answers. My favorite of the questions, of course, is you're on an island and there's a box. What's inside the box?
What's in the
What do you want?
I know what our favorite response is.
Simmons. She thinks about it and she just with 100% confirmation, is just the TARDIS, and we cheered because it was just a wonderfully nerdy answer. And I'm just like, go ABC for making that reference, knowing
it.
that the vast majority of Americans won't get it.
I wonder if the actress is really a fan and she just kind of improvised that. Like she said it and it was like it fit perfectly.
Well, maybe she talks about it. I mean, she's from London. I mean,
Right.
it's even bigger over there, Doctor
Well,
Who.
in England, it's not a cult show; it's a very mainstream
Yeah.
show. So it seems very, very plausible that
It's a fantasy.
Gemma Simmons would be a fan, and that Elizabeth Henstridge would be a fan, or at least be familiar with the show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that was fun and that was cool. But of course, we're just waiting around for Ward, who's not popping in on any of these. Another thing to note, when Fitz was asked what would he want in the box, would be Simmons.
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
Well, how big is the box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Fitz that bugged me the most in this episode was that he was so on Coulson's case about him telling Audrey that he's still alive, telling her how he feels and all that stuff, being honest with her.
Right.
But here he is not even telling Gemma how he feels, even after Ward is like, just tell her. Like,
He's
who
projecting
cares,
his
dude?
insecurities.
There's a lot of
so many
hypocrisy
chances.
going on.
Yeah.
There
in
is.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now,
episode.
because Phil's mad at May for lying to him, but he's lying to the cellist.
Audrey.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And both come from a good place. It both comes from both people lied because they want to protect the other person, and here the entire episode feels like really mad at Melinda May, but. The entire episode, I remember I threw down my notepad. I'm like, you hypocrite! Just tell her you're alive.
Well, and I think with Fitz too, I mean, I think they do. I know people have talked about them having more of a brother-sister thing. So maybe that's kind of what he thought until, Trip came along and he's like, I think he's just confused how much and in what way he cares about her.
Right.
So I think what he says at the end is he hates change is because they had such a great rapport and they're on the same wavelength. I mean, even with the questioning at the lie detector, I mean, they're finishing each other's sentences without being there. And I think he was being truthful at the end because I don't think he's going to say like, yeah, I want to have babies with Simmons and form a life.
Right.
I just think he
Well,
likes the
here,
partnership.
We're gonna get deeper into the Fitz Simmons Trip triangle later on in the show. I don't want to give it all away up front. So Ward takes the lie detector test, and we're all on the edge of our seats because we know that he's lying and we're waiting. You know, he's got these elevated heart levels. You know, Koenig asks him, "Are you in pain?" And he's like, "Well, you know, 2 cracked ribs. Of course I am." When he actually has like an 1.5-inch long metal splinter in his thumb because he's a crazy badass.
But he really did have cracked ribs, right? Because
It's funny that the splinter hurts him more than the cracked ribs.
Well, did you see that thing? It was like
It was
really
big.
deep in there.
Didn't he need that?
Yeah.
He pulled it out without tweezers. That hurts.
Because the ribs are baseline pain. What he used the splinter for
It
was
affected
just
his pulse.
and it was just for the last question.
Okay.
And he was,
I saw him
applying
press it in,
pressure
yeah.
to it.
He applied pressure to it for the last question to make sure that there was no way that it was a definite answer. You know, we asked ourselves, right? So he, Eric Koenig asks him, you know, why he came back to the team, and he's suspicious about Ward's answer. You know, it's just my duty. And, you know, we all asked, like, why did Koenig let him go and not tell anyone?
Yeah, he got like almost. He failed pretty much half the test.
Right, which was all the Hydra-related questions were iffy. So why didn't he tell somebody? And I feel like, you know, the splinter that he used on that last question, on that series of questions, was very much about, you know, making it seem like the whole test could be thrown out, that it's a machine problem, not a him problem.
Even that, I kind of feel like, well, you know, until these results can be better determined, you're not getting your lanyard.
Right.
Like, I still feel like that would have been more of the case. But
Dude's too
the second
trusting.
he mentioned, he basically said, yes, I'm with Hydra, but I came back because of a pretty girl. And what, is Eric just such a romantic that he's like, oh,
He's been locked away. I mean,
But
she's hot.
He seemed really suspicious of Ward right after that. I mean, I just kind of had the feeling, I had the sense that he wasn't giving him a chance because he believed that he was
right.
You know, I think he was giving him a chance to kind of keep an eye on him, but he didn't do a very good job with that.
Did anybody think
It's a bad plan.
Yeah, it was a really bad
He was
plan.
locked up. If you're suspicious, leave him locked up and go get help.
But good
leave
thing
him
he gave
tied to the chair.
Good thing he gave him the lanyard, because if he didn't, obviously Skye would have been screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did anybody else think? Well, I also saw a tweet earlier that got me thinking this, especially during that scene, because he was so trusting for a hot second, that maybe, you know, that Eric was Hydra, and then that was trying that he was being extra with the gun to, you know, kind of see what his reaction is, to know, like, are you on my team? Kind of like how Han did earlier.
Yeah.
So I was thinking for a little bit, I'm like, you know, and then he doesn't want the NSA getting involved, and he's being a little bit quiet with Skye, and then all of a sudden he allows NSA thing, kind of thinking like, if Ward said it was okay, and obviously Ward's Hydra,
right?
You know, because he's probably not in the loop like all the other Hydra people that can actually talk to other groups. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking at first, and then obviously, as we saw at the end,
right?
Like,
Well, here, not to break up this conversation, we're going to get more into what's happening with Ward and Skye and Eric after the rest of the team leaves the base in just a moment.
Sorry, it's all connected.
I know, it's all connected.
Hashtag.
But first, I want to talk about you connecting with us on iTunes. I know I do it every week, but I deeply appreciate anyone who's willing to take the time, go to iTunes, rate and review the show. It not only helps us maintain our show, it really helps, it raises the collective water level of the entire network, and it really helps everyone here. It's how we're able to get great guests, it's how we're able to get sponsors, it keeps the lights on, keeps the doors open, and, you know, we produce so many hours of free content here at AfterBuzz.
Yeah, seriously, if you guys help out even with Twitter for us to get guests, once they're recognized with us, I mean, we've started to get, you know, more people involved and better guests each
exactly
season.
You know, longtime listeners, and we don't really talk about this very often, but longtime listeners will remember what the network was, you know, a year or 2 years ago and where it is now. It's thanks to fans like you who reach out, who are able to, you know, up all of our ratings and tell friends about the network, that we have the kind of reach that we have now. The shows are of a higher quality. We're able to get these great guests. It's really a huge help. So I'm going to do some shout outs right now to folks who reached out on iTunes. Stan K said, OMG, 5 stars. Zach's predictions just made my head explode. Bring him back. We loved having Zach Wilson on last last week.
He was really great.
You guys, I was literally watching the whole show at home.
Yeah.
I just couldn't move to get into my car.
Zach can come back as long as there's no violence in this.
As long as there's no violence in the studio. We would love to have him back before the finale. It all depends on scheduling, so
and
we'll
then
figure that
hopefully
out.
we'll have just a teaser. Megan and I are working on getting guests for the last couple of shows.
Which is
Fingers
great.
crossed.
That would
No,
be
no
awesome.
promises, but fingers crossed.
Yes. Good overall podcast from Jeeds32. 5 stars. Just a really good overall podcast. Love the hosts. Just wondering where I need to go to keep the TV show going for another season. I would tweet
Everywhere.
Tweet
ABC.
hashtag Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
IMDb.
Tweet ABC. Rated on IMDb. Rated on Amazon where they sell the episodes. Rated on iTunes where they sell the episodes. Let ABC and ABC Studios know how much you love the show. Great podcast from Giles C3. I love this podcast, and I'm so glad that I found AfterBuzz TV for all the shows that I watch. I'm not a big graphic novel or comic book fan, but I absolutely love the latest Marvel movies, so this podcast fills in a lot of blanks I have because I don't read the comics. The cast is very insightful and entertaining, which makes it easy to listen to. Thanks for the great shows.
Thank you.
Awesome show from Hale Coulson, 5 stars. Yeah. Great enthusiasm and discussion of the show. The discussions in the theories portion of the show really get me excited to see what is to come on the TV show. Great show, 5 stars from Rat Trap 007. Been listening to them since the first episodes. Always a great show. Really like sitting down with friends and listening to their thoughts on the show. Good theories from time to time. 5 out of 5 Hale Coulsons.
Yeah. It's a thing.
And just 2 more. Fantastic from Asgardian Wizard. Really excellent podcast with an awesome panel. Recently found you guys and now listen to you on my Wednesday morning every way to work. I love hearing everyone's theories on what is to come as it makes me think more deeply about the show. It makes me more excited for the next episode or movie. One thing, you guys talked about seeing Blonsky at the fridge, the abomination. But I believe in an earlier episode they said that Blonsky was in a cryo cell in Alaska, not in the fridge. He could also be in the cube, which was mentioned as one of the last secure bases and has housed the Abomination, Hulk, and the Leader in the comics.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
So, yeah, well, it could also be that if he was at the cube, then there's no way that he was released, or his cryo cell may not have been disturbed out in Alaska. In any case, I just want to drop in and say what a fantastic job you guys are doing. Keep it up. And finally, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. writes, Skye and Ward, 5 stars. Awesome podcast. Love it. But does anyone other than Skye, Coulson, and May know that Skye is an 084? Because I don't think they told anybody else. That's
Well,
actually a really excellent
potentially,
point.
I haven't
all of
thought
them,
about that.
all of the world does, depending on what was on Agent
What
Romanoff's.
Romanoff
like,
released.
Right.
Yeah, it really depends on how many people got to that information before Skye scrubbed everybody.
Well, I don't know that the 084, when they originally found it, it was in a document that got unblacked or what?
Yeah, like some of it was,
it was
taken
pretty
out.
censored.
It was
so-
pretty redacted. So whatever people got, I figure if it was an issue, they would have already brought it up on the show by now. The big thing is that Ward doesn't know. And now we've got Skye and Ward alone together, and I'm wondering if maybe this is the time that we get an inkling of exactly what Skye is. It's a very good point to bring up this late in the season. So getting into Skye and Ward, right? So, when Phil Coulson realizes what?
She started giggling.
Oh, okay. We're getting to
Getting
that.
into Skye.
Listen.
That's
grow
not
up.
this episode.
I thought you were Kristin Carole, not a 13-year-old boy, okay?
I don't know why I looked at Megan, and that's why I thought, like, as a joke, because I feel like
I
we
love how
joke
looking
about
at
that a
Megan
lot.
makes you think that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Looking at
have
Megan
a
Salinas
boyfriend.
makes you
No.
think about sex.
God.
I don't understand any kind of connection there. I would like
on.
to
No, because
move
she
on.
smiled, and I thought she was thinking that, and then I laughed.
So in any case, Phil and the rest of the team head off to stop Blackout, aka Marcus Daniels. Thank you. Marcus Daniels leaving Skye and Ward alone, and Skye has the bright idea to hack into the NSA satellites to get the security footage of the fridge when it was being attacked.
And it only took her an hour.
Because she's amazing.
She can do anything.
I know.
If she
gonna
can see that and the
be the
NSA
very
has
best.
it and they've got S.H.I.E.L.D. on their list, well, I guess it's the NSA. Like, I don't really know how they operate. too much. But
They have everyone on the list. It's not even a list. It's a globe.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah, I was
big
gonna say. I
globe.
mean, like, don't they kind of look at that because of everything that's going on right now and kind of go, oh, maybe we should put these people on
The map.
yeah,
The
exactly,
NSA map.
on a wanted poster or something.
Wait, like
Yeah.
are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents or all of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, just like the specific ones. I mean, they're obviously, it's known, what's being taken over and who's involved in taking over the fridge. You'd think that would be something that they would be keeping an eye on and be like, okay, this, let's pull up this face. I'm thinking like
Right.
something like Born Identity, like here,
There's
here's
an entire
Ward.
task
Oh, so you're-
force
you're-
all
Grant
in a
Douglas
room
Ward.
looking at all
Yeah,
these
exactly. I
monitors.
mean, like you would think something like
You're
something like
saying,
that
yeah,
happened.
at this point, if they're keeping tabs on all the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, that they would have already viewed that footage and put out an APB for the people
Yeah, so
seen in that
somebody's
footage.
looking for him,
Right.
And probably Garrett.
Well, for all we know, no, because if they did know who was there and they had put out an APB, Skye probably would have found it when she hacked into NSA. So, unfortunately, she isn't able to really see anything from the footage because Ward attacks Eric Koenig before she can come view it. Eric Koenig, first of all, he says, go down to the SATCOM room, but pipe everything just to these monitors in here. Don't put anything to there. You put it here, and then you come back.
Well, and Ward's not a tech guy, so how did he get it where, like, all of a sudden Skye goes in and goes, oh, I guess it's not there.
He
Just that
fast-forwarded.
I guess that's... But remember when him and Coulson were trying to do, what's the
With
name
the-
of
with
it?
the
On the
holo
desk.
table.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was hollow technology, and this is a keyboard and a mouse.
And yeah, he went to the jock school.
Right, and
remember?
and Koenig had already pulled up all the files. He had already pulled up the files, and they were just, decrypting. So I imagine that he was just able to fast forward.
So Skye wasn't like, oh, this looks a little like a head. I shouldn't rewind it.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
She's just too, like, involved in his dreamy eyes and stuff.
But we're super bummed
And finding Eric.
that Eric Koenig is dead. We all were like,
I'm so
on some level, I
bummed.
think every fan was like, what if he could just stay forever and just be their butler or something?
I would have loved it if he stayed in the show first of all, and then somehow made it into the movies. That would have been really great. Actually, I think Coulson or Clark Gregg was trying to get that retweeted because someone suggested it. And he was like, "Please retweet," but obviously he knew what was going to happen.
if
to
Coulson-
him.
He's like,
Come
I'll
back to
retweet you
life.
to make you feel better.
If Coulson can come back to life, anything is possible.
Exactly.
It's true.
Just
And
bring all
Fury.
your agents back to life.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already brought 3 people with Skye back to life. Okay, we could do this, peeps.
They have the answer to forever.
Yeah. We should make that happen. Unfortunately, though, I don't think it's going to come to pass.
No, probably not. Which is unfortunate because he's such a fun character,
Right.
and I think he had the potential to play a huge role in future events, and so
Sure.
it's really sad to just see that cut short.
Yeah. But what I did love about the reveal was, Ward's on his spy game. He's got the penny on top of the door trick, which is really, really clever.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Skye noticed it and put it back before he found her. But we introduced this idea of this tablet with everyone's RFID tracker chips on their lanyards, and this sequence was just very well done. I think we already talked about it, but her looking at the scanner, walking around the hallways, realizing that Koenig is up in this weird little corner room. What's up with that? Then winding through all these shelves, finding nothing, and then the drop of blood. It was just a very well done sequence.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive I've seen, drop of blood from the sea. I'm sure
Right.
I've seen that in a movie. I can't think of which one right now, but like it
Yeah.
was very horror movie-esque, and it was really
Well, and
good.
let's applaud Chloe Bennett, who did an amazing job.
She was so good at that. At
This was
being scared.
a
I was
standout
nervous
for
for
her.
her, yeah.
This
That
was a
was really
standout
great.
standout episode for her. Let's rewind it back because we didn't even talk about
Unlike what she did.
yeah. What?
Oh, because she didn't rewind.
Oh yeah, he fast forwarded.
So fun.
Let's rewind it back and talk about Skye Ward discussing stuff, discussing things,
Having
discussing
drinks.
each other, having a little drinky drink.
This is pre Eric's death.
Whack, go,
Yeah,
whack, go.
and it's with a lot of what he said, it's really tough because obviously he's playing this game.
Yeah.
But you really feel like a lot of what he's saying that he actually is being sincere, that in no way justifies anything that he's doing.
Right.
I think there was some truth in a lot of
absolutely.
that. But he was using it against her.
Yeah, he was using it to further their, to further
Right.
his agenda.
Just because he's lying to her doesn't mean that he wasn't telling the truth. It's just
That makes perfect sense.
But no, it
does.
You know, he's using I think some real things like the stuff about his brother as emotional manipulation. He always comes back to that whenever he's trying to control her.
And his parents were worse.
Exactly.
Which explains why he is the way he is. And
Right, why he's handsome and why he kills people for a living.
damn his parents for being so good looking.
I know.
They're terrible.
They're so much worse. But she falls for it, and I'm so mad at her for falling for it because he's laying it on a little thick. And
It is that whole, we can save him if we just love it.
yeah, exactly.
And
you
he's
are
there,
a good
and
person.
they're, you know, like she even said the reason she kissed him before, she was 97% certain they were going to die. They're still in that area where it's like, at any point, they could die.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, and she got rid of that boyfriend, like, what, months ago?
Months
Miles.
ago.
She hasn't gotten any in a
Episode
while.
5, maybe?
Skye Miles.
Oh, can I just before we talk more about Skye and Ward, can I talk really quick about Ward talking with the different team members?
Yeah.
You know, before Fitz and Coulson departed, and
Please
then before
do.
May departed.
I'm glad you picked it up.
You know, he's been tasked with eliminating the team and then bringing Skye back. But he goes to talk to Fitz, and he's like, look, you know, anything could happen at any moment. If you feel like you need to tell her something, you should tell her something. Talking about Simmons.
I didn't even
Yeah.
I didn't even
And
connect those.
I'm sitting here
Don't
going
wait.
like, please, like this is Ward saying, go tell her before I have to murder you. Go tell her how you feel.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Fitz is just like, yeah, whatever, I'm not going to say anything. And Ward is just like, okay, fine, I don't care. Do what you want.
But
and
he-
walked away.
He managed to take her away without injuring any of them, which I guess is convenient for them that they were at the concert hall, but
And I
Well, also,
think
there's the May of it all. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was going to kill her. You know, again, it's
Yeah,
nothing
he almost
personal.
did.
But then she got up and left on her own accord because she was like, I'm here for Coulson, but you've heard him. He doesn't want me here, so I have no reason to stay. And she just up and packed away.
Right. And if he was completely cold, he would have killed her. He would have still killed her. Her back was to him. He could have done it.
And he waited until the rest of the team was gone. Like, with them gone, the only person he had to eliminate was Eric. So, I'm not justifying anything that he's doing, but I do think he cares more about the team than he lets on.
I think it's very clear that he is conflicted, but orders are orders. You know, so in the case of letting May go, he figures if she's not going to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore and she's not going to be near Coulson, there's no reason to kill her. I don't know if
Threat
it's necessary.
eliminated.
Right. It doesn't necessarily speak to any lingering feelings, perhaps, between
what
the two
about
of them.
everybody else?
They up and left.
They headed on a mission
so
before he could
didn't have
murder
to.
them.
Well, and I tend to think it definitely mirrors, you know, now that we found out that his brother, his older brother, had told him to beat his younger brother. It's almost kind of what's going on here is Garrett's now his new family, and so is the team.
Garrett's his
He's the
new
bully.
older brother.
He's the new
Exactly.
bully
So he's the
brother.
one telling him what to do, which is to beat up on the younger ones. And obviously it still sticks with Ward, but the younger one is
himself.
Coulson
Yeah.
and Simmons and Fitz and all
This
that.
is all very important.
It's what he's familiar with, and it's how he's just acting.
Yeah, he wants Skye desperately to decrypt this hard drive, but unfortunately it's geo-locked. It can only be opened in a certain place as the sun rises on the third day. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing, but I'm fine with it. And he snatches Skye away to go and decrypt it out in the middle of nowhere or wherever it is. However, he doesn't know where they have to go.
Where do
So,
you think she would lead him?
I don't know. Skye has the upper hand here.
Ooh, can we go to Tahiti?
I would love
Yeah.
if the show actually went to real Tahiti. That would be funny. Where would she
would
have
she
an
actually?
advantage? Or would she take him to where it actually would unlock because as soon as she takes him to the wrong
can
place,
delete it?
he'll kill her. He'll kill her or something.
I think as long as she can keep playing it up. But yeah, we were jokingly say like oh take her to the White House or to like the FBI
cops.
headquarters.
Anyone.
Things like that. But that is a good question. Where would she go? Where theoretically could she take him that would not make him suspicious?
Take him to Stark,
Ooh.
I like that idea.
right?
We need an Robert Downey Jr. appearance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be fantastic.
This
Or
feels
take,
like a good
take
enough
him
excuse.
to Asgard.
There we go.
I like that better.
Geo-locked in Asgard.
Thor has
Here.
to help with this,
Right.
and then May shows
Okay.
up, and yeah.
Great time.
I really
Everybody has a great
loved,
time.
for a hot second, I thought, oh man, we're really going to have this confrontation. But then, you know, when she was playing the game and she was trying to convince him that nothing was wrong, again, great performance from Chloe Bennett.
Yeah, how unsettling was that when they just walked off hand in hand? It was like,
Ooh,
ugh.
gross.
Like, I think normally at the beginning of this series, we would have been like, yay, Skyward. Now we're like, no.
Now we're like hashtag spy bang, and the world is so much brighter. Okay.
Although I said this while we were watching. I thought she was laying it on a little thick with him because all of a sudden she was being extra seductive.
We do have to move on
No.
because we're running low on time. We got to talk about May. Jumping ahead a bit, you know, she gets into a car with her mother, who works for another agency, presumably CIA, something like that, and is off to see Maria Hill. I received some tweets that people were asking, who's Maria? Maria is Maria Hill from The Avengers, played by Kobe Smulders, who...
She's so cool.
excited.
who at the end of Captain America the Winter Soldier went off to work at Stark Industries. Now, we're going to talk about this more later on because there's stuff that was in the package for next week. If you don't want to know, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So we're going to move on to Coulson and we'll come back to that. So, Coulson and Audrey, the cellist.
Well, we've been talking about it all season, and now it's
Tale
finally
as old as
finally
time, a song as old as rhyme.
Coulson and Audrey.
Aww.
Yay!
It is. It's warm and it's sweet like a cinnamon roll, but it's also a story.
but it's also sticky.
It's also a sticky
very,
situation
very sticky.
because we have, thank you, an electricity sucker powered by the Dark Force, which as soon as you have anything called the Dark Force, who said it?
That is so badass.
Coulson,
to me.
the line in Coulson was like, you know, nothing bad ever happens when you work with something called Dark Force.
Right? Ugh. People.
It
Science.
really is like asking for it.
They
I
should have had like
know.
the Imperial March when, you know, Marcus Daniels came in.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
And then he kills Hal, the truck driver.
Yeah, with one touch. Yeah.
I
And
love
then,
that.
as the S.H.I.E.L.D. team descended upon suburban Portland, danger was afoot.
That's what he should have driven away to.
Right?
In the beginning.
That would have been cool. But in any case, Marcus has been originally was stalking Audrey back when he was originally caught by Phil Coulson. It's how he met Audrey in the first place.
Oh, meet cute.
Yes. But instead of rehabilitating him, S.H.I.E.L.D. improved him and made him stronger at the fridge. Again, speaking to, they're not always on the up and up at S.H.I.E.L.D. We
Yeah.
don't necessarily, if it was Hydra people, Hydra scientists who were doing that.
It was Hydra.
But then again, you
Because
remember...
it's like Centipede.
yeah, exactly.
But then it could also be, you know, in the
could be
first
a Fury
Avengers series, they were weaponizing
Making weapons.
off of the Tesseract.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, you were absolutely right. They're not
Well, even in
always
Captain America, they had the ships, so.
With
Exactly.
insight.
So the fact is, it could have been anyone at S.H.I.E.L.D. who did this. Definitely the wrong thing to do, because now just simple lights won't destroy him. Now you need superpowered gamma rays invented by Bruce Banner. It's a big deal.
That was cool. I had a question though about Daniels. It was told it was said that he never missed a rehearsal, but Audrey said that Coulson protected her from him. So I'm assuming he kept him
Well,
away
when
from
it-
her.
He never
but
missed. He never missed a rehearsal.
A recital, actually.
A recital. He never missed a
recital.
recital.
was
It was
rehearsal.
it was a performance, and she was like at first I was flattered that I had a fan, that I had a groupie, but then he showed up at my house,
And that's when she
But
called the
But he
authorities.
didn't continue going to those recitals.
No,
after
because he was
Coulson
captured.
stepped in.
He was captured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and as we know, S.H.I.E.L.D. has a list of people that they kind of keep an eye on, and maybe he hadn't been doing that many things until they saw that, you know, that he goes to the same place too. So they're following his patterns, and if he keeps going there, that's probably also why Coulson gets to meet Audrey.
Well, also, you have to imagine that they may not have had a list before the first Iron Man or before the first Thor. This may have been very early into the list's infancy when this happened. We don't really know for sure.
Stuff like this that makes them go, oh gosh, we need a list.
We need a list.
Guys that can make fire with their arms. This guy's like using forces.
The energy blasts, I'm just going to say it, very well designed. The computer graphics, they looked great. They look great. They look dangerous.
They were very fitting.
Yeah, they were very fitting, very dark, forcey. And, you know, I wanted Coulson to say something. I loved the pain in Clark Gregg's performance. Amy Acker was fantastic as Audrey. I loved her monologue as she kind of recounted how they met and, you know, dealing with his death and never being told anything, and then having him listening to all of it, and then it's hearing her be so you know, remember him so fondly. He can't even listen to it anymore. It's that painful. It's a really beautiful thing. That he runs out to save her, but still he doesn't want to rob her of all of her progress. She's come so far. She's had to deal with so much. When you lose someone and you have to mourn them and you have to let them go, there's a deep pain in realizing that that was all for nothing.
And he doesn't know what will happen to him if he does come clean and tell her the truth that he's still here.
Right.
He might not be able to just stick around. So there
and
goes
he may be dead anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole team is you know, in danger. So it's not the right time.
No.
But hopefully soon. And yeah, we have Fitzy talking to Coulson the whole time, kind of asking him why he won't reveal himself to Audrey when, you know, Fitz himself won't reveal his feelings to Simmons. And I feel like he's projecting here. He's trying to understand, you know, he's like, I'm not crazy to be afraid to do this. You know, Coulson is also seems to be afraid. You know, maybe if I understand what's going on with him, maybe I can understand me better and I won't be such a chicken. But it's really,
Coulson's
really hard.
like, I'm not afraid.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm just protecting her. I'm doing what's right.
And he's like, yeah, me too.
And then, well, I think maybe that's also another reason he doesn't. Besides, I said earlier, I think he is kind of confused with his feelings. But if Coulson's protecting her, maybe he's seeing that Simmons has kind of not moved on because they didn't have like a romantic relationship. But maybe he's letting her go. She
deserves the right to pursue this. They have chemistry. He's smart. They're attracted to each other. He doesn't want to get in the way.
And he's
maybe
going, and Tripp's actually like being assertive with his feelings for Simmons.
I think he can keep up with them, like in the way that he can techno babble like circles around Ward. Tripp knows exactly what he's talking about. He's like, I know what that is.
He's got whatever Fitz has. Maybe a little bit more for Simmons.
Yeah.
For now, or so she thinks.
He wants a piece. That's a science bang.
But I always thought that she did
not a
science.
You both
but he's not a scientist. But he's not a
time.
scientist. So hold on. Scientist meets a specialist bang.
Oh,
it's a special science bang. Or no. She's
An
science
SS
bang. She's science banging him. He's specialist banging her. But neither of them are spy banging. Okay, glad we got that.
Unless he actually does turn out to be Hydra.
Unless he turns out to be Hydra, in which case he will be spy banging Simmons.
My head hurts.
That's what's important. Okay.
This is too much.
We're going to do a little news and gossip. There it is.
TV News.
There's the sound effect. So a fan told me today, sent me a tweet with a link to ABC Media Net where they released a press release about one of the upcoming episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2 episodes from now, episode 21, Ragtag. Now that's the last episode before the shocking season finale that'll change everything forever. And in the episode Ragtag, it is said that Ward's past and his affiliation with Hydra will be revealed, and the team will go undercover infiltrating Hydra for some sort of purpose to try to pull stuff off. That's all I know about the episode. I know that that Bill Paxton comes back,
Yay.
Raina's back, Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very exciting. They're touting it as a very, very huge episode, so I'm sure we're really going to enjoy it.
Did they say if Ward is, like, I know it's revealed, but then is the reason they're able to go undercover is because they all trust Ward?
It's revealed to the team. They don't say that, but I think that's a very solid prediction, that he comes clean, and then they work together to get inside
So
Hydra.
they're not friends, they're allies.
Maybe. Okay, it's time for predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz
TV. Spooky music.
I love the lights.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of the whole show. You know, screw us. We got spooky music and flashy lights. Done. All right, gang. So, as we saw in the preview for next week, I'm trying to remember
Deathlock.
Yeah, Deathlock is back.
Yeah, taking over Skye driving, right? So that's what it was.
Interrupted her commute.
Her commute, her
do you
escape.
think she is? Yeah, I was gonna say, does she escape from Ward, and that's where she went, is somewhere where she could get a car?
Maybe, yeah, she might have tried to escape, and then, but because obviously Hydra's kind of keeping tabs on Ward, you know, Garrett, being the clairvoyant, is like, I'm gonna send Deathlock after them because Ward's taking too long.
Did it look like she was in New York?
I don't know.
She could be.
Well, one of the things that we almost talked about earlier is that Maria Hill shows up with Glenn Talbot at the bunker where they've been hanging out at Providence, which means that she's not at Stark. So what's up?
Well, she's working for Stark Industries, but she came clean to the military.
Got it.
Because she's no longer with S.H.I.E.L.D. because she's of the mind that S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer exists.
Right.
Well, we're still not 100% confirmed on what her involvement with Stark is. All we saw is her in the office.
Yeah, applying for a job in the HR
But again,
office,
we don't know if she's applying or what's going on. I mean, she's just in the HR
Yeah, that was an
office.
assumption. I'm sorry.
But May is looking for Hill. Hill is with Coulson, so that's going to hopefully bring May back to Coulson. And that they can repair their friendship because Coulson realized that it's silly that he's blaming her for what she had to do as orders.
Maria say she heard he was there? So how did she hear it from May? Like, did
Maybe
May
that's what's up. I don't know.
be like, hey, Coulson's at this, place in Canada right now, hanging out.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I remember this part, in a part of this episode, Trip revealed that he's legacy, that his grandfather was in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Was one of the Howling Commandos from Captain America 1.
Yeah, fought Hydra already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's why he
true.
was there.
I don't know if it was implied that he has passed away, but if he's not, maybe he could help them kind of infiltrate if that's what's going to happen later on.
That'd be fun.
That'd be really cool.
Any
with
other?
May's
Wonder
mom?
who it is. With May's mom.
I
With
want to
May's
know
mom.
what May's mom works for.
Yeah.
Well,
I
she
wonder-
says she's retired, but she's still got contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll find out. Hopefully we will meet her ex-husband as well.
Yes.
Lots of cool stuff
Maybe
to come.
season 2.
Only 3 episodes left in the season. I can't believe we've
That's
already
so
watched
crazy.
19 episodes of this show. But I'm so glad I'm here with y'all and that we got all y'all here at home. All right, Megan Salinas, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. And also on Sunday nights, I do the Turn podcast with Kristin Carole and Joyce Ajouri. Captain Joyce.
All right, Joyce?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @JAjouri, on Instagram at IRUOJA, and on the Sunday Night Turn podcast.
All right, Kristin.
You can find me, Kristin Carole, on Twitter, Kristin Carole 13, and Turn. And Anatomy of a Movie as well. If you want to go see The Other Woman, we did interviews with the cast, like Kate Upton, because who doesn't like her?
Okay, great. And if you want to find me on Twitter, and I imagine that you do, you can find me at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can find all my AfterBuzz videos, SourceFed videos, sketches, and vlogs on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/Matthew D. Lieberman. Also doing Mad Men, Resurrection, a whole bunch of great stuff. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.